This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the special call of Planetary status. We had a little mishap. I think a lot of people showed up at a couple hours ago, but I came in. I hope everybody heard me that we were going to have this call because we have so many people that are asking questions about certain things. So I do the best I can to see if we can accommodate those people and answer those questions for the most part. So we'll just start off. All of you have been watching the setup, okay? And the setup has been going on. Actually, the setup was put together a while ago, but of course we've seen the setup of C19, and we've looked. Those of us who are aware and awake to a certain extent, we see it, and you get a little irritable maybe, and you step into it. You step into a cow pie every now and then with it, and it's frustrating because it affects us because it's part of us. You can't. There's no way to. You can move yourself outside of it and watch. Okay, but it's like a scary movie. Probably most of you've been in a scary movie one time, shape, form, or another in your life, where they do a shock thing where all of a sudden you're not expecting it, and boom, and you jar because it surprises you. And that's a little bit like this because the way it's structured, and the sequestering of the people of the planet. Now it is the only reason, and this is all connected, but the only reason that people respond the way they do is because they rely on external authority. That's the bottom line. There's no other reason or motivation to do so unless you are reliant on leadership, whether the leadership is corrupted or not. You will follow that leadership on what that leadership dictates to the civilization. Okay? And this is why we've had wars, conflicts, because the people were fooled into a lie and then went out and risked their lives to harm others because they thought they were doing the right thing, because the leadership told them so. So they didn't, and we'll go all the way back to the parents, World War I. And it's the same. But it is different on this planet. Time has gone by, but it isn't really much different from the basic understanding that people follow external authority. The only reason that C19 has been pushed out there for so long, they're trying to push it for a year, and they're trying to re-energize it, which is trying to put on a shoe that doesn't fit anymore. So and now all of this, all the stuff that you're seeing, all of the propaganda, all of the input, all of the stuff that people are evaluating, their own opinion, their own network, their own context, their own intel, all of it. When you clean it all up, this has been in the works for a really long time, this whole process. It's actually been in the works for thousands of years. And it's culminating with what's going on right now. This is the transition of the planetary civilization into a higher frequency of life, of existence. And it is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not something that is going to be over tomorrow. It is something that is a transition, and it takes, for those of us who are aware, amount of patience so that you don't feel hurried or pressured or worried about all of the things that you're being just lambasted by externally. Yeah, and we're affected because we're all one. We're all literally one. And so these activities affect us in different ways, different frequency bands, waves that affect us in irritability, stress factors for no reason. I mean, you just get irritable for no reason. It's because frustration. And then you really have to you choose to put yourself in kind of a check status where you just don't care to embrace it. You know what I mean? You're not interested in getting all frustrated and irritated. You know, it's about enjoying your life. Okay? It doesn't mean that you're a milksop and you don't have any authority or power at all. It's the opposite of that. But you view things from a certain perspective because we've seen all this. And we know the psyche of the civilization. So it is a following, but understand that, during the Vietnam conflict, they had the airwaves playing all the time. During the Korean War, during World War II, they would have, in the Japanese conflict with the American troops, they had always a female, but always shooting propaganda at the opposing side. Flyers and planes would fly over, and trying to get to their to affect them psychologically. Where they would become demoralized and not motivated, and maybe surrender, give up. This is no different. This game has been played on this civilization for eons. And this is just, it happens to be the 21st century, and we're experiencing the same application, but in a different way. This is World War III. I'm sure a lot of you understand that. It isn't a world war that involves thermonuclear conflict, where we destroy the whole surface of the planet and all life and ourselves. It is more of an internalized, well, let's do it and we'll get away with it type thing. Okay? Now, if you measure right now, we're talking right now, if you measure the temperature of the civilization, let's just take the American people right now, and you look at all the people, and everybody's going to find this out, okay, because the information has already been compiled, that Trump, okay, it could be Bo Diddley, it doesn't matter, but Trump is legally the president for the next however long that we've structured it to be, for the transitionatory government that will come in. So what you're looking at is, for the first time since the Revolutionary War in this country, when it was called colonies, we will be functioning as a form of republic for the people. And a lot of shifts and changes will be made. And there's a lot of situations occurring right in this now where, and this is only being done, period, for the people. Each and every one of us are having a bird's eye view of the debauchery, corruption, subversiveness, and corrupted soul level of certain parts of us. Okay? Because that's how we're not ever going to be apart from each other. If we weren't, it's not designed that way. So we're looking at a perspective of ourselves right in this now of how not to be. So it's not like we're condemning those people judging them, because that sucks us right into the crap. It's we are spectators and watchers externally, and exuberation of being able to have this type of experience in education for ourselves, so that this never ever happens again, and that we do with our children's children, make sure that they all know. Okay? The problem that's happened on this planet so many times is that the generation that experienced something left the body and never really passed it down to the next generation. It got lost. This is why this happened again here. Why do you think it happened in Germany? German people are not stupid. None of us are. But they got tricked. And it's not really any difference, except it is not allowed to get to the extent where it got in Germany. So what we have, and it isn't something that's a big surprise. I think some people who are waking up are just kind of like cold-cocked because they just can't believe it. This seems like a movie. This can't be, not in this country. This can't be going on. Well, see, what happened is that they figured, and I mean they, I'm talking about the corrupted souls. What they figured is that all of you were stupid. Okay? Well, they did the C-19, right? So the C-19 tested the subservience of the people without questioning anything. And they found out. Okay? Well, this is a cinch. They're all stupid. They'll do anything we tell them to do. We could tell them to jump off a cliff, and they'll all be laughing and joking and jumping off the cliff. Okay? And we could all tell them they're going to have a soft landing, and they'd all believe us. So then they took it to the next stage, all right? And this was a few years ago. They've been working on this for about 10, 12 years, just in case. So they rigged I'll put it this way. The largest crime ever committed on the planet. They rigged the voting. And it's coming out. I mean, you guys are all reading and seeing and listening and all this stuff. They've rigged it. They rigged it all across the board. All right? Now, do you honestly believe that they haven't been rigging the elections in this country for quite a long time? Yeah, they might be using their software programs right now, but they've been rigging these elections for a long time. How do you think the Bushes got in? How do you think the Clintons got in? And then they make everybody feel melancholy and loving and wonderful, and, let's just forget all of our disagreements and come together as a people. And, you got to understand that even if somebody stood in front of the bicameral civilization and admitted, we have created the largest voter crime on the face of this planet. We've committed the largest voter fraud ever. And publicly make that statement. And also in front of people, I'm not going to lower your taxes, I'm going to increase your taxes. All right? Now, at times when you saw with your own eyes the amount of people in this country that adored that particular individual were about 1 in a million. And so it's just all deductive reasoning. This is where you kick into more and more high gear, and it affects the collective, guys. It affects all those that are still bicameral. They're not bicameral, they're conscious, but they think that they just don't understand that they're conscious. So all of us, think for ourselves, and we ask a lot of questions, and we never stop, because guess what? We are all collectively creating this whole process. We have all collectively created everything. Not something from out there. That, again, is bicameralism. This is inside. We all, one way, shape, form, or another, collectively have created this exact thing that's happening right in this now. We created it. How did we create it? Well, when you realize that, number one, okay, we eventually, guys, we are not going to have a government like we've had. It's not going to be that way. It just isn't. It doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because it's been allowed to be corrupted for so very long. It doesn't function. It doesn't work for the people. The people hire people to help them with things because the people can't do it all. So the people say, look, we're going to hire someone to do this, this, and this for us. But if they get out of line, they're out of here, period. You guys are all fired. You did a crappy job. See you later. Have a good life. You guys are now hired. We want to see what you're going to do if you're going to do the right job for us. You don't, you're gone too. It's that simple. This will eliminate, you are not going to see eventually politicians. They're not going to exist. Politicians are going to go away. This is the third dimensional frequency of this planet, which almost destroyed it. Okay? This planet was almost completely pulverized, blown up in all life, everything. And the reason that it did not happen, because this was their timeline that they had been watching, where all the oceans were dead, and the only things were little islands out in the ocean, and the elite lived in these little islands and stuff, and the rest of the people suffered in squalor and poverty and everything. You see? But because of the collective consciousness, because of the frequencies within the God within us, the communication and awakening started multiplying through the past dozen years. It kept multiplying. And as it kept multiplying, more and more people became aware and awakened. And so they started researching and looking for themselves, and they started discovering things. And they took it upon themselves to discover things because they were curious. And then they found out about certain corruptions and everything that had been hidden from them that they had no clue existed. And then they started delving into that, and we're talking about over the planet. Then they discovered that they'd been had, that this is just a big illusion. Do you honestly believe, guys, that any government has any authority over you? Really, seriously. And the only reason that they do pretend authority is because the people give it to them. That's the only reason. Okay? And when the people are living in fear and fear their own government, who they hired to assist them in different duties, what do you think's wrong with that picture? When a people fears its government, the government must be eliminated. Period. Because the people will be slaves forever. And that's what's happened in this country. The American people became slaves and serfs, providing wealth for the rest of the planet, and all the grubbing and greedy, corrupted souls that were just sucking the money and the wealth off of the American people. And not only in America, but all over the planet. And the people felt, and not knowing that, they thought the structure was the way the structure is supposed to be. So they went along with it. Well, they must know what they're talking about. They're the government. So, assumptions are very dangerous things. So when you look at this and what's currently happening in the status of the planet, number one, there has not been an elected president yet. The only one that's been elected is Trump. There's not an elected president. There just isn't. No matter how many people can argue the fact till they're blue in the face, there isn't an elected president, only Trump. There isn't a president-elect, only Trump. Trump won this campaign hook, line, and sinker on November 3rd of this month. He won it. He won it so decisively that he broke all records ever in the history of voting in this country. A huge landslide. Now, okay, what do you do when you find out that you ever experience this? playing a game with somebody. Remember the board games before we had all these video games and stuff? We had board games, so it got family together and people and friends. And had a good time. So have you ever played a game with somebody where you say, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom," or "I got to get a drink," or whatever, and you come back and they've cheated, and they swear up and down they didn't cheat. And you go, "You cheated. You did this and this. Because it wasn't that way when I left. And I come back and you got this and this. And more money." Say Monopoly, okay? Because I had someone do this with me one time. And they said, no, that's the way it was. You just don't remember. Well, I said, "No, you cheated." So I said, "Okay, so I'll beat him anyway." And I did. So, and this is what's going on right now. That's a real simple analogy, but they cheated. Now does that surprise anybody? No, they cheated. They cheated the American people. They think the American people are stupid, and so they just figured, well, okay, we control the media. The media will announce that Biden won the election. Hook, line, and sinker, he won it. He's the president-elect. Okay, now, here's the positive to this picture. All of you, for the first time ever in this country, are viewing the truth. You're viewing the truth of the majority of the leaders in this country. You're viewing the truth. Now, that's never happened, because it's always been, okay, well, he won, I'll see you guys later, let's all come together as the American people and unify and follow another corrupted soul leader. You see how that works? And the majority of people understand who the good guy is, so to speak, who the good guy is. And it isn't the guy that the media announced as being the new president. That just, you know what? It's like you're riding an elephant, and you're trying to convince people that it's a horse. It's no different. And you're adamant of the fact that that elephant is a horse, and everybody needs to believe you that it is a horse and not an elephant. No matter what you say and everything, pictures, no, that's it. Well, no, it's a horse. It's not an elephant. All right, you're just seeing things. Hocus pocus. And so when we look at this right now, this whole situation is going on. Everybody's getting fearful and frightened. No, and what are we going to do? And that is the energy that you're being seduced into the show. You are being seduced into the show, as where you're playing an actor's or actress role in that show, rather than just sitting in your easy chair, couch, and watching it all unfold as a spectacular experience in education, so that we all know, and I think a lot of people know, it's not about arguing with people. It really isn't. Everybody has their own opinion. There's people that believe that this guy's the best thing since sliced bread, and he's going to lead the people to the promised land. But that's their prerogative, right? In this country, at least, it's their prerogative. That's their opinion. Doesn't mean you agree with it, but you don't have to prove that you don't agree with it. People are worried about, when they do announce this to the American people, emphatically, that Trump, hands down, is the second-term president, well, then the boogeymen are going to come out and just start burning, raping, pillaging, blowing up, murdering, killing, destroying, and everything, all across the country. Big scourge. Now, right? They were given the opportunity so the American people would see what was going on. Not huge, not really huge, but in a few states where, the agitators were sent out, the sleepers were sent out, and they were activated, and they just started agitating people, burning anarchy and no rule and no organization, and we're going to take over this part of Seattle or whatever, and we're going to do this and that and all that stuff. And then guess what? Where'd it go? It all of a sudden disappeared, right? So it's kind of a test, destroying the American people's heritage, destroying the history, the statues and all that stuff. Not knowing why, but believing what they're doing is a good thing. Understand that. Not knowing why, but believing what they're doing is a good thing. Because they were told to do it, who they believe is the authority over them. That's it. Okay? So now, when this is announced, do you honestly believe that there's that many people in love with this guy that believes what he's saying and embraces it? No, it's a small number. And it's an illusion. So you got to send in buckets of agitators who you pay handsomely in order to make it look like that millions voted for this character. And they didn't. And that should tell you something. And this is World War III, and that's what's happening. And why is it World War III? It is a World War III unlike any of the past world wars, because it is the war to determine who runs this planet. That's what it's about. It isn't do you think that it's about one election? Let's take it up several stair steps. It's about the actual condition of the civilization of this planet, while those above the civilization are in conflict to determine who will gain the authority to rule this planet. To rule it. And that's been going on for hundreds of millions of years. To rule it. To dictate to the surface population on how they're going to live. And make them think that they're going to be free, and they're not. And make them think that they're supposed to work their fingers to the bone in order to receive satisfaction with their lives. All of this crap that's been just hoisted and dumped on everyone on this planet is going to end. Okay? That's what you're looking at. It's the ending of the dark control, the luciferian control of this planet. And everybody has heard different versions of this, but and I've talked about it. But the fact of the matter is that you're looking at that a long time ago, the protective field in this solar system was breached, and a bunch of nutcases came in, and that's it. And they defiled this planet, and they've been continually defiling this planet, and they've been using us as little guinea pigs and rats and mice in a lab, and they've been doing it for just forever. And what this war is about is a galactic, celestial, let's look at it this way. It's celestial, galactic, quadrant, solar system. So, celestial, universal, celestial, galactic, and solar system. Galaxy, galactic, solar system. So this planet happens to be, remember the Milky Way galaxy is on the outer part, this solar system sits way out on the outer rims of the Milky Way galaxy. And it is the last stand in this quadrant of the galaxy of the dark, evil, and vile, corrupted souls. And they have set up their last defense on this planet. And they have been pushed back for a very long time, all the way back to Earth. You retreat. You reassemble. You retreat. You reassemble. You retreat. You reassemble. And that's what they've been doing for a long time. Okay? And they can't bring in reinforcements because they've been all cut off. And a lot of the reinforcements have been neutralized, so they don't have any cavalry coming to save their bums. So they're on their own. And that's what you're seeing here in this now is you see, and actually, that there's no protective cloak here anymore. It's been eliminated. But you're also watching those that are still heavily steeped in bicameralism, so they'll believe anything they're told. They'll believe that the lie is the truth. You guys believe, okay? You'll believe that. See, when they lie, they want you to believe it's the truth. So the bicamerals will listen to the lie and believe it to be the truth. You guys listen and watch and view the truth as the truth. Honesty versus dishonesty. That simplifies it. So you're looking on this planet, in this country, and around the world, you're looking at the fact that you're seeing dishonesty at its epic level. Complete, unmitigated, pure dishonesty, which is transferred into Luciferianism, Satanism, devil, all of that. And then you have honesty, which is the truth, and the truth, the honesty, is God, is pure consciousness. Okay? Now, what's happening on this planet right in this very moment is that visualize or see in your own heart minds that you realize that this is the end of this Luciferian rule. Now, when you're used to ruling something and doing anything you please for a very, very, very long time, do you think it's easy to just say, okay? No, because that's not how this part of the one works. So they work from the standpoint of, oh, no, we're never going to concede, we're never going to be defeated, we're always going to be in control, we're always going to be able to do anything we want, and they're always going to be our slaves. That's it. And that, no matter what, that's how they pursue. So when you're watching them, that's what you're watching. Total denial. It's just like, so they don't believe any of the stuff that's truth. They only believe the lie is the truth. So that's how they're able, that's why they lie. They can't tell the truth. They lie. But they do tell the truth in a way that people think they're lying. So what they do, they put onto those who are in the honesty vibrational frequency. So that what they're doing, and this is how it happens, what they're doing, okay, they will blame it on the opposing group or part of the civilization as they're the ones doing it, okay? Think about that now. It gets real confusing for people, especially ones that are bicameral. So they believe they're gravitated because their frequencies are so low, the bicameral people. Their frequencies are very low. So they're agitated and moved into conflict and damage and murder, death, kill. And they're the ones that are literally running around trying to get everything done, and they have no authority to do it. But they're doing it. So that the American people can see how absurd and how ridiculous it is on what they're doing because they have no authority. People haven't given them authority. Okay? But the media gave them authority. Now, figure that one out, okay? The media gave them the authority to elect a president for the people of this country who had no say in it. That's how they view it. You had no say. None of you did. And to have repeated situations where the Republican people that were vote spotters that would come in and were not allowed to look at anything, were shunned away, and to give training sessions with young people on how to commit fraud across the country. Guys, it's a slam dunk, and there's really nothing to be concerned about the fact that, oh my gosh, what if anything that you're going to watch on TV, if I were all of you, I would tell the cable company to disconnect your cable line and only keep your internet. I really would. Because I'm telling you something, the television sets that they make today send out frequencies that affect your decision making. And they affect understand certain things. It is a frequency that causes you to become more in fog and brainwashed to a certain extent, so that you'll be followers of such a debacle that has occurred in this country in the last handful of days. I mean, it's just absolutely, but you've got to understand something. These are the old ways. These are the ways of the dishonest earth, the Luciferians, the devil, the Satan, the Lucifer, whatever name you want to give dishonesty. And that's what's happened. And it's leaving it. The collective consciousness is through with it. And I guarantee you something. When all this is said and done, okay, and the American people, again, have to be patient and know their direction and understand everything has been finitely engineered. And I'm talking about the good side, the honest side. It's been finitely engineered. So the people are getting a bird's eye view of an education they never would have gotten, ever. Unless this shroud, this veil had been completely melted away and destroyed, and that's what's happened. So, the bosses are gone, but the minions, and when I mean the bosses, we're not talking about, you guys should know something. Okay, let's say planetary-wise, boots on the ground on the surface, okay? You have the overseer that they call Marduk, Lucifer, whatever, okay? Then under him you have the director. Then under the director, you have the Council of 45, give or take. Then under the Council of 45, you have the 13 Illuminati families. And then under the Illuminati families, you have the minions, the lieutenants, the corporations, okay? The heavy hitters, the corporate execs and everything. And then below them, you have some more minions. Those are the politicians that are directed on how to run the countries and directed on where to send the wealth and directed, the oath that they're supposed to take. And it isn't to the American people. There isn't one politician in this country that has taken an oath for the American people. They don't. Their oath is not for the American people. That changed a long time ago. So you got the politicians. Then you have the politicians' minions, that they believe are mindless and they could do anything they want with them, and that they're all above the law. Understand that? And they believe that. They're all above the law. You guys have no authority over them, even though you're the people, and you determine how this country is going to be run. But they believe that they've been able to take that out of all of you, and that you're stupid, and all they can do is whatever they want to do, they're going to do it, and there's really nothing any of you can do about it, and that is absolute, unmitigated crap. It's just crap, guys. And why do you think it's always been a merry-go-round with this civilization? World War II, World War I, World War II, Vietnam conflict. Vietnam wasn't even a war. There was no war declared because there wasn't a war. They made it up. And look at all the guys. And I knew a lot of people that went there. And it's just absolute, and still suffering from it. So you look at that. You look at all Iraq, Afghanistan. Why? Afghanistan, we got to protect the poppy fields. We got to protect the cocaine. We got to protect the opium-based drugs. See, that's all Afghanistan has. You know, why do you think we've had troops there for years to protect the coke and the drugs? That this country, the American people, are the #1 drug users on the face of the planet. There's no country compares to the American people's drug use. It is absolutely off the charts. And then where do you think they make all the money? Who do you think created the drug runners, cartels? Who do you think did? The corrupted souls in this country. That's who did. Okay? Why do you think we have gangs, gangbangers, drive-by shootings, slums? I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Who do you think did that? Implemented that amongst the population? The corrupted souls. Okay? And that's all shifted, and eventually there aren't going to be any slums. Right? There aren't going to be any gangbangers. They're all going to be gone. They're all going to be part of history. There won't be any corrupted souls trying to fix anything. Period. And why? Because the American people will take the responsibility gladly to make sure that this type of debacle never, ever occurs again in the population in this country and around the world. That it just won't be possible. You're not going to do that. Why? Because we know about how that works. We're informed. We have the knowledge. Well, what do you mean? We know what you're doing. Now, either you stop doing it or we're going to take you out. And you won't like where it's going to be. And that's basically going to be the bottom line. And then what do you think happens? Okay? What do you think's going to happen? And no expectations or attachments, because that's where we get miscombobulated. But when you realize that Trump will be declared president, that's it. Bottom line. It's already there. Okay? And then will there be disruption? Sure, because do you think they're going to just walk away? No. They will fight tooth and nail to maintain their power structure and their control over you, the slaves. They will do it as much as they can, as long as they can get away with it. But it won't work this time. None of it's working. They've been trying to create global thermal nuclear war since 1954. They've been trying to create global thermal nuclear war, which is basically the obliteration of the civilization in all life, as we would know it on the planet. But it hasn't happened, has it? All major nuclear devices are inert. Isn't that a good thing? People say, what about those mini hydrogen bombs that Netanyahu set off there? And there's only a few of those. And you'll notice that they don't do really a lot of devastating damage over millions of people. But the nuclear devices on this planet have been, and if they try to use them, they won't work. It's a big game. Well, we've got this many nuclear devices, this country's got this many, we can't have that country having this many. Just to have any of them anyway is absolutely asinine. Because they're too dangerous, and the civilizations of the planet aren't responsible enough to handle them anyway in a good way. So you're looking at a evolution in the truest sense of the word. You're looking at a civilization on a planet that has finally recognized that it is the master and commander, not those that it hires to serve them. And this is going to become more apparent and more clear as more people in this country and around the world begin on their own to awaken. And they start embracing their path, which we're all on the same path. We all end up in the same place eventually. But they will begin to recognize the fact that this is over. It's not going to happen anymore. The dismantling of segregation of the people. This is what's happening. And instead of segregation, it'll be unification and integration. All of those who were the bad guys will eventually either removed completely, or come around to it that we work together. That's it. And we work as one, as a people of this planet, as a civilization of this planet. And we start taking responsibilities for every action that we engage with ourselves and others. And this is what's transitioning now. All you're doing is you're looking at a situation that is playing out for not only our entertainment, but our education long term. You couldn't ask. We should be thanking these people for showing us the truth. All right? And they're showing us the truth, and the truth is that they all lied. And they cheated in a massive way. And that means that they cheated you, all of us, everybody on the planet. So what, now, do you think they're the majority? Seriously, do you really believe they're the authority? I mean, do you believe that they're the majority and the authority? No, not even close, okay? And what does that mean? It means that you guys are waking up enough where you're identifying on your own without anybody influencing you, on your own, from the God within you, you are finally realizing that this is an absolute joke. It accomplishes zero for the people of this planet. It detracts majorly for the people of this planet. It puts the people of this planet in harm's way. It puts the people on this planet in a much lower vibrational frequency. It adds to depression, fear, anxiety, and stress and worry. Now, is that something that any of us desire to embrace? No, it isn't. Now, disillusionment comes with bicameralism. Schizophrenia is a perfect example of a bicameral being. So to them, in bicameral perspective or mode, they're doing all the good things, and we're doing all the bad things. See? That's how it works. And we don't make any sense, and they make all the sense in the world. And are you going to follow you? Think about this. Or are you going to follow that out there? That out there is external authority. And unfortunately, for this civilization, the majority of external authority on this planet is corrupted souls. Why do you think there's so many poor people in this country and around the world? These are the people that create that. That's basically it. These are the people that rape and pillage the civilization for their own advance and greed, and their ego runs them. Their ego mind runs them. That's just the bottom line. If they knew who and what they were within, none of this would be happening. But it is, because that's the direction they always follow. Think about this. It is the direction they always follow. If we can't have it, nobody can. We'll just blow it all up. If we can't have it, nobody can. We're going to take our toys and go home. I'm going to tell my mom on you. That's basically what's happening on this planet. Do you think that all these so-called authoritarians in the Galactic Council and across this galaxy are any different than any of us? Do you think that because they're a different civilization that they're much higher, much more esteemed and powerful, much more benevolent and tranquil? Okay? Well, if that was the case, then we wouldn't have been having massive galactic war, interstellar wars for millions of years, if that was the case. If they were, this and that. Okay? Have you seen anything on this planet that has actually signified and identified that, it's total peace and prosperity and wonderfulness and everything? Do you know how long people have been talking about being saved by these off-world civilizations? Think about that now. How long? Into the 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, in the 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th, 14th, 12th, a long time, people have been believing that something is going to come and save them. That is external authority. That's how it works. And so the civilization only advances under the direction of the corrupted souls. Forced to use combustible engines for centuries. Forced to use telephone poles. A medical system that sucks so bad that it should be burned to the ground. Regulations are nothing but prison direction and structure. Do you know why they have regulations right now in this country? Of which they want to reinstall more regulations for all of you. So you can't do diddly ever. You're so overregulated you can't even spit without having a violation. And that is no difference with the Nazi socialist German Third Reich. Exactly what happened there. Where's your papers? You don't have your papers. You don't have your papers? They'll shoot you right there. And this is the same guys that they're trying to pull on America. And the reason is that they don't want America to be America. They want to sell it off bit by bit and destroy the American people. They don't want it to be a country. They don't want the people to live here. They want to just sell it off piece by piece. And it's just part of the game plan. This is always destruction. Remember something. This is an anti-civilization. The anti-civilization believes in what? Anti-Christ. Okay? Anti-good. Anti-honesty. Everything is the opposite of what you guys embrace. So this is why the collective consciousness has risen or ascended enough so that a lot of us are in 5D. You're in 5D. But everybody's so confused because of all throughout the ages and everybody's description and how it's supposed to happen and everything, and they weren't there. Have they been in 5D? No. So think about that now. And if you've been in 5D, how do you tell a population, well, this is what it's like? The only way you can is if you've been there. But, you know, everybody is open to their own opinions and direction and understandings. So you realize that this election thing here in this country is it is the biggest joke ever perpetrated on the American people. It's absolutely absurd. And eventually people will come to the full conclusion on their own, deciding for themselves, thinking for themselves, governing themselves, that exactly, you're absolutely right. It is the biggest joke ever played on the people of this country. And it stops here. And it's not going to be successful. It's dead in the water. But as long as those believe that this guy who has no authority at all, period, is the new leader of America. It's just this. It doesn't work that way, guys, because if that was the case, that would have been their timeline. And that timeline is gone. We will not be going into that timeline. We're headed into a higher vibrational frequency. A lot of us are in 5D now. This is why it's very irritating for us to see what's going on. And you just, why participate in it? You know, if there's, and I said this when they started the riots. You know, neighborhoods and everything of people across this country. If the neighborhood said, okay, no one's going to mess up anything here, and then everybody steps up. You know, I'm sure some of you know this, but a lot of the young men that went to battle against the British in the Revolutionary War were like in their teens. They're like 14, 12, 15. But they were called upon. Okay? And they defended their families and their neighborhoods. Right? Now, we haven't experienced this like they did back then, where you had British troops shooting right outside your door, where your children were right in crossfire between the blue coats and the red coats. Yeah, it was a different time, but is it any different today? Do you see how things never seem to move forward permanently? Do you see how the corrupted souls control this planet every single second in debauchery, in anti-civilization, of annihilation? Annihilation always happens with the civilization and the planet when you have an anti-civilization. It's inevitable. It would eventually have happened where this planet blew up and everything's gone. And then they would just go to another planet and start up the same thing. And eventually blow that planet up and move to another planet. This isn't something that's new, guys, okay? There's planets being liberated, right? And that had nuclear weapons. There's planets that have had other devices. They were trying to destroy themselves. And a small group of honest beings assembled, destroyed it, and freed the civilization and the planet from the degradation and destruction that was happening around them. And it's no different here in this country, right in this now, in this very moment. What we have here is an opportunity to witness and educate ourselves and gain the knowledge to pass down through generations how not to be. That's all it is. And when you start looking at it from that perspective, it's a good thing. It isn't negative. How else are we going to know? If it's not revealed to us, we can just sit around, assume, and guess. But now it's being revealed. Right? It isn't about blowing people away and bombing and hurting. It's just about acknowledging. And when that energy is directed in a positive direction, they end up depleting. It's inevitability. That's what happens. They deplete. And then they become no more. Because no one's paying any attention to them. And no one has given them any authority. And they won't have authority ever again. And so it's like digging your own grave. What are you doing out there? Oh, we're digging these holes. What are they for? Well, they're our graves. Really? Yeah. But we'll never be in them. See, we'll never be in them. You're going to see a massive financial reset, not the Great Reset. You're going to see a massive amount of wealth pour across the people. You'll have a handful of people that will have the responsibility of distributing that wealth, and that wealth eventually will hit every single American in this country and around the world. It'll hit every single one of us. And I think people have put too much emphasis on money. I think they believe that money is the root and cure of everything, right? You'd be sicker than a dog on your deathbed, and $50 billion isn't going to help you. It isn't. So it's kind of skewed on this planet on how people perceive things. And that's going to shift too, and it's shifting already. Money is meant to move in motion constantly, not hoarded and not collected like the past of the corrupted souls used to do. Okay? And this is where people are going to adjust to start realizing, used to do it. We're not doing it now. We give the wealth to the people. Those who distribute the wealth, eventually everybody on this planet will be wealthy. That is an absolute. It is absolute. It is absolutely imminent. With no doubt whatsoever. And embrace that into your heart minds and carry it with you and see how that vibrates with you. There's going to be a little bit of roughing up here and there. There's going to be sharing of information that's going to blow people away, as if they're so naive that they never thought any of this stuff was happening. And how long it's been going on. All this stuff must be revealed. All they've done with this civilization is spoon-feed it. A little bit here, a little bit there. And this is why we have such debacles as to what's gone on with this election. because most of the people in this country have been spoon-fed. They haven't used their own minds. They haven't journeyed within. They don't know who and what they are. So they just believe that they have to rely on external authority to tell them how to live their lives. That's it, period. And so what do? They comply. Now someone comes up and says, I'm going to take everything you have. Well, I don't have anything, so what are you going to take? See? It's always the fear-based society. The government keeps the society in fear. And then they back the fear with force. Now, if you have a government like that, it should be completely abolished. All the secrecy, all the crap kept from the people, the very ones that support them. It's like slapping your mother and throwing her into a barrel because she feeds you. It's no different. It's like slapping your mother, throwing her into a barrel, sealing the barrel because she fed you. So is there really any doom and gloom? Nope. Is there patience that needs to be implemented? Yep. Because I think a lot, because of how people have been trained and as they've grown up in different ways, they expect things to happen immediately. And you know, they spend most of their time waiting for it to happen instead of moving forward and knowing that it's already happening and that it'll take care of itself and the universe will bring it all in. But, you know, you decide, you can engage all the crap out there, and you can, you know, you get it coming from this direction, that direction, you get it coming from over here, over there. You know, God, I don't know what to believe, what's going to happen, this is scary. And you start saying to yourself, well, and then you have sleepless nights, and you're starting to worry more and more. But see, there's a trap for each of us. Because when we do that, we lower our vibrational frequency, and we attract more of the same. That's a given. It's an absolute. That cannot even be debated. So it's the frame, the emotion that you decide to be with. Because you can't rely on the ego mind because it's going to really screw you up bad. You can rely on the heart mind and operate from there. And I'll tell you, it's going to come to a point on this planet where everybody forgives everybody. Okay? There's not going to be separation anymore. And that's where we're heading. No separation. See, a lot of people believe they're separate. They're not separate. Well, none of us are separate. But they've tried their darndest to control this planet, to convince this population that it's separate. Now, why do you think they stirred up all the stuff throughout the ages? You know? Oh, let's get the different hue of a man. Let's start getting them to conflict with each other because of the hue of certain man. The color of a man. You know, instead of humanity, you might as well just say the color of a mankind. And that kind of blends into, well, it's kind of deceptive, isn't it? Humanity. Humans. The color of mankind. A lot of words have been twisted. A lot of words have been, literally flooded on this civilization for thousands and thousands of years. But what would happen in this now, that this planet, and collectively the civilization came to the full conclusion that they're all gods. And I'm not talking about ego mind. I'm talking about heart mind. That'd be a different story, wouldn't it? And then I've had people say, what's going to happen when this planet becomes a paradise? Everybody in this quadrant of the galaxy is going to come here. Only those who are benevolent and tranquil and not corrupted souls will ever even touch down on this planet. You really want to know where things are going? We will have an Earth Defense Force that nothing will compare to in this quadrant of the galaxy. And anybody, again, that tries to infiltrate our planet, this planet, we happen to be here, we're connected to it, all those in it, above it, and below it, it's going to be a different story because they're not ever going to get into it. They're never going to land the planet. And we'll know immediately what their intentions are by scanning their ships, and they have no technology to bounce our scans. So see, here's the point. Why would you have nuclear weapons on the planet that had that kind of defense force in the atmosphere? Why? You wouldn't, would you? No. No one would have to carry weapons that would destroy millions on the surface. They would live in peace, prosperity, and they would all journey within, and they'd all be within themselves. They'd all be Buddhas and Christs. That's where we're going. So then you start looking at that perspective and that understanding, and you start looking at the one you've left. Where is your inspiration? Where? Where are you seeing your inspiration? Well, most likely, the New World. And it is a civilization of the universe where everyone will prosper. Everyone will, what they do, they enjoy doing. And eventually no one will work for a living. No one's going to work for a living on this planet ever again. No one's going to be in a slave labor camp like a corporation, where the corporations suck off of the people that make the corporation what it is in the moment, and then shut the people down. Who do you think made YouTube as big as it is? I just don't think the people of this planet really embrace what they are. Who made Twitter? Who made Facebook? Who gave Facebook the power? Who gave Twitter, YouTube the power? Who gives all the corporations on this planet the power? You do. Each and every single one of you. And I don't care if you buy a pair of slacks once a year. You're still giving them the power. No one else is giving them the power. You are. Standing in line for 2 days on the latest and greatest gizmos and gadgets. Spending $12 to $15 to $2,000 for a smartphone that costs maybe, okay, $50. You know, and that's what the people of this planet haven't figured it out yet, I don't think. Number one, they think they're individuals. They're not. They're part of the collective consciousness. They're one. We're all one. We're all operating in the same motion, the same ocean. And we're all parts of the ocean. We're all drops of the water. As I say in my meditations, we all hold the essence. So it's like the ocean is the drops, and the drops are the ocean. There's no separation. It's just an illusion. And when we start realizing that, what do you think everybody's looking at here? These people that are trying to pull this off on the public. Those are parts of us. They're educating us. See, that's what's happening here. They're educating us on how not to be. For instance, when you're honest with yourself, and you don't practice dishonesty, how do you feel? Good, don't you? Really good, don't you? How do you feel when you do for others with no expectations and no attachments? Because you just desire to do so. You want to. You don't expect anything at all. You know what? You're operating from your heart mind, not your ego mind. The ego mind says, what am I going to get out of this? What's in it from, well, I did them a favor, they'll end up doing me a favor. You see? It's a big difference. And this civilization is moving more and more into the heart mind. No wars, no conflicts, no twisted elections. Guys, it's going to blow over, and it's not going to blow over, so to speak, going to be embracing it as an education, and you're watching it, and you already know. All you got to do is go in your heart and mind. Say, this is an absolute joke. It's being taken care of. And the American people are behind the honesty all the way and totally not in favor of the dishonesty. The planet's been lopsided in the frequencies for quite some time. The dark side of us has ran the planet for a very long time. The light side now has taken the helm and cannot be moved from the helm and is now the master and commander. It doesn't mean that these minions aren't going to scream, yell, and holler as loud as they can, because eventually some will come around and those that don't will be lifted off planet, never to be seen again. See, it's gotten to the point where there's no negotiation anymore. These people that are still hanging on to the attitude of death and destruction for the civilization aren't going to be kept on planet. I'll guarantee you that, and many aren't anyway. They're not even on planet anymore. But the people don't know that. And a lot of these are demon-possessed. In other words, they're clones with demons inhabiting the clone. All right? They're also Draco rebels. They're all over the place, guys. You know, they're not random. They've been here a long time. And, you know, we will, and I just really will just have a joy in my heart when the people of this planet actually are witness to one of these galactic council meetings. You'll go, what? Because every single one of us make the decision to journey within. And the civilizations and the people within, the beings within the civilizations that are in the ego mind are no different than us in the ego mind. And what do you think territorial-wise? Like one of the civilizations on Mars, they're so territorial that if you even step one toe in their sector, they'll obliterate you. What is that? Ego mind. What is it also? Fear. So it's not just on this planet, it's everywhere. Right? Well, aren't there people that are benevolent enough, that have ascended far enough that aren't that way? Sure there are. But they aren't in body anymore. And the only time they are in body is to fool the ones that visit their planet. Because they see, eventually, guys, you won't inhabit physical forms. I guarantee you that. You just won't. It's just part of our journey that's endless. So to dispel things, all right, and for whatever it's worth, I always say, I give this information freely, openly, and honestly. So you can take it however you want or just leave it behind. But this is what's happening. Trump will be announced president, all right? The revaluation of currencies will engage, and monies will start flowing. Maybe some bumps there because some people are very irresponsible. Even some that are carrying the paper and bonds won't be responsible enough and make some mistakes, so big deal. We're all about learning, right? And all the rumors, forget about the rumors. You know, what the rates are, I heard it's only going to be this much. Oh, they're going to lop off the zeros. You know, for the last dozen years, I've been hearing all this crap, 20 years ago. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. You know what? What is that? What is that external authority that draws us in, hoping and believing, instead of going within ourselves and saying, hey, this is what I desire, I'm staying out of the way, and the universe will just deliver it. That's it. And if every single one of us did that, it would have already been. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No one's going to be left out. No one's going to be left behind. No one's going to have to rush in a hurry. No one's going to have a a time element. Everybody's going to be plugged in. Everybody's going to get their chance, and everything's going to be worked out beautifully well, except for those who are irresponsible. That's it. And I've said this before, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a big, huge forest fire going on. You know? This country's going to a gold-backed currency. Whether the bad guys like it or not, their system is over. And we're burning it to the ground, where the ash won't even exist. And if it does, we'll use it as fertilizer for new growth. So the fact of the matter is that all of this hoopla about all of this has been going on incessantly. Well, you know, I'm really plugged into the real top guys here, and this is what they're saying. That's all fine and dandy, and a lot of that is truth, but a lot of it's misconstrued, and by the time it gets through the rumor mill funnel, it's absolutely destroyed. It doesn't make any sense. So these are the facts. You remember Dragnet? That some of you maybe remember. It's in black and white, and I think it went color toward the end of it. But Henry Morgan, I can't remember the other, Jack Webb. These guys were FBI agents, right? And all they would say, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. And these are the facts right here. The RV will happen. Absolutely, it's imminent. Okay. The people who are carrying currency and bonds will have their day at the trough. No one is going to be forgotten at all, because there's not that many really, comparatively speaking, with over 8 billion surface population. Okay? It's not like there's 50 billion gazillionaires that are going to be created. It's small. It's very small. Do you think 20, 30 million people on the entire planet is huge? And do you realize the work that's going to be ahead of each and every one of them? The ones that are carrying substantial amounts? Massive. Massive. Rebuild the surface population of this planet where it is in a civilization of the universe. Do you think it's only going to take a year? No. You're looking at a decade at least. And then all the new technologies and all the other stuff that will be coming in. So that's a fact, right? RV's imminent. Everybody's going to be included. It has currency and bonds. It's all going to be done finitely, perfectly, except those who are irresponsible. Trump will continue on as president. There'll be some hoopla going on. But understand something. We all know that the leaders at Twitter at the top are corrupted souls. They live in fear, threatened by the ones that control them. Same with Facebook, same with YouTube and everything. YouTube helps a lot of people. I said this before. It is an absolutely wonderful platform, but it was developed in a basement, and then the people caught on and made it what it is today. That's all there is to it. You realize how many creative people are sitting in their basements right now across this planet and in this country that are configuring and putting together other YouTubes with different names. You see? And it should be that way. So there's tons of YouTubes so that you have, you know, my tube, you know, the people tube, whatever you want to call it. And you go there and you publish and people watch and enjoy it. Television is history, guys. It really is. There will be, there'll be what you would call those who develop programming for entertainment with no commercials. There won't be commercials. There won't. Why? And this is fact on what is to be, because the collective consciousness had determined it to be that way. So what you're looking at is you're saying, okay, so we bring in celestial chambers. You guys have heard about those quite a bit. We bring in replicators. You've heard something about those. And what will happen is with those two technologies, once those replicators are everywhere across the planet, money will be gone. Mark my words. It will be gone out the window. And so what we do, there's groups of us on the planet with different technologies. And what we do is trying to raise funds to support these technologies so that we can get them introduced to the population. Now, when the RV is all said and done, we will have all the funding across the board for all the projects you can possibly imagine forever. Forever. Never worrying about running out of anything. It's just absolute. You're witnessing the total dissolving of the corrupted D.C. government. Right in this now. As a spectator and a watcher, you're seeing it dissolve through its corruption, debauchery, all of his activities, drug running, child trafficking, sex trafficking, creating wars for gain, murdering millions of the population, yet going unscathed. That's how it's always worked for the dark side, and it's over. The light is now in full command and mastership with the civilization, not above it, with it. So it's just a suggestion. Go within and start embracing the gratitude that you are every single second you are in that body. And if you desire a great Thanksgiving, then intend a great Thanksgiving. You desire a great Christmas holiday, then intend a great Christmas holiday. And be deeply grateful for every single inch, every speck that you exist in that body. In this very now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but now. Move and practice yourself in deep gratitude 24/7. Gratitude that this is happening. Gratitude that this is happening now. We're going to be done with it, guys. It isn't going to visit us again. Oh, so all of this corruption and all this debauchery and above the law and above the people and, supreme eliteness and everything else is being dissolved. A lot of people in this country are going to be blown away because of people they worshipped and thought were clean as a whistle and were nice and wonderful. And they're the opposite. Hollywood is done, guys. It's over. Completely over. And you'll understand something, how the people of this country have been so bamboozled. I'm sure everybody understands this, and it represents something now, but the actual core of the Statue of Liberty, the Statue of Liberty was actually the whore of Babylon, given as a gift through the French people to the American people. It was floated down into the waterways, into New York, and then put on that island. It was on a ship. It came in. But if you research it on your own, you'll find the true history and roots of that. But because of the belief mechanism and the people being trained and guided and directed in a bicameral direction, they believed it was something else, so they created something else because they believed it was something else. We represent the civilization of the, understand what this means. And this is through the heart mind. This isn't about ego mind. We represent as a people this entire planet. This country, this land that we all stand on represents a belief of joy, happiness, prosperity, endless dreams, accomplishments, true freedom. And the funny thing is, we've always been free, all of us. But they convinced us otherwise. While we've been in the body, we're the serfdom and the slavedom. So when you understand that we everybody on this planet is watching us. You have no idea how many people I talk with from around this planet. And they're all asking, what's going to happen there? We are the ambassadors of this planet. Period. Unfortunately, some of us are still asleep. And what I mean ambassadors is that we represent every walk of life. We really do. Every nationality, every culture. And what happens here, this is the final frontier here in this country, right now, that they're trying to destroy, which is not going to happen. Not even close to it was about 4 years ago close to happening. But again, I said back then, oh, it's not going to happen. So all of this stuff that's like, right up in your face, have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, put a blanket on in the cold and just sit back and relax. Seriously. It's up to you, though. If you want to step your foot in that cow pie again, it's up to you. Barefooted, stepping your foot in a warm cow pie. Not a good feeling. But you decide. Each of us decide what we're going to embrace and what we're not going to embrace. You're the power, guys. You're omnipotently powerful. What is housed inside your body is absolutely divine perfection. It does not change. Only while we're in the body changes and the things around us change. Because we're always working on one thing. Each of us create the experiences in this life. Whether we knowingly or unknowingly, we create our experiences in this life. And we do that, once we become consciously aware of that, we do that because we do it to perfect our creations. This is all about experiencing. It was never intended for this population to live in squalor, starvation, drug and sex trafficking, cannibalism, every form of debauchery you could possibly conjure up going on this and in this planet, in this very moment, in this now, being vaporized. Completely vaporized. And you know what vaporized means? There's nothing left behind. Not even an atom to regrow. Completely vaporized. So the positive things through it all are what? You are the positive thing. You, each and every one of us, are the determining factor on the bliss and the joy that is housed within us. And the fact of the matter is that we have an RV. We will have plenty of wealth. It'll take a while to distribute it amongst the people, but everyone will be hydrated. The job creation and the forms of jobs that will take place on this planet will blow people's minds. The governments are not capable of doing this. Only the people are. And I've met enough true hearts, enough people that work from their heart minds that aren't greedy, that aren't manipulative, that genuinely care about all of us, the one. And we all make up the one, the pure consciousness. And all of us together are the God. And that's what's happening. And the end of all diseases, and the end of all starvation, and the end of aging, all going to be gone. How soon is that going to happen? As soon as the money flows, we will be at work. And I've shared this with everybody. I'll share it again. We are constantly working on avenues and bridgeways, segues, until we have, like, the celestial chamber, the one, and the replicators up and running, manufacturing, getting them distributed across the planet. We are looking for alternative ways to help people heal and to help people live happy in the body. Right now, we're testing and I understand, celestial chamber is a lot different than med beds, but we're testing a med bed. And if it works and it does good things, then we will offer it to people. we have to, we'll set up some stations and we'll have people fly in and be treated. But we're working on avenues every single waking hour to find a way to end the suffering, and all the people that I talk with and all the people that send me letters that are not in good shape at all. This is a passion of our team. It is a directive that we have committed to openly and lovingly so that we can get something happening with people on this planet so that they don't have to suffer anymore. So they don't have to go to chemotherapy and radiation. Okay? So they can be bathed in wonderful energy. And we'll have a bird's eye view on that equipment in about 30 days. We will have tested it, we will have run its course, and we will be able to report back to all of you exactly if it is effective and how effective, then we'll introduce it to everybody. Bingo. I shared this before with everybody. We aren't sitting idle. We don't let any moss grow beneath our feet. And we're going to need all the help we can get, mind you that. So everybody writing in to my assistant's email address, everybody writing in saying they want to be part of this, then you're part of it. You might as well just consider automatically and remember that you made a commitment, that you want to be part of it. And we'll find, I guarantee you, we'll find a way to utilize whatever skills that you've put together in your life. We will find a way to have you apply those skills in certain ways, shapes, and forms to help others. And that's the biggest thing that I'm going to be putting out there is that we need all the people we can get. Seriously. Yeah, we'll have to vet people. We'll have to check their backgrounds. We'll have to make sure that they're on the up and up. We do have a technology that we'll employ eventually, and they'll be known, and it won't be a secret. It will scan their frequency right to their core, and it will tell us immediately if they have alternative motives. Period. So, but until we have that, we will be highly vetting people. We have to. This isn't going to be a helter-skelter thing. It's going to be very finite, very smooth, very together. We will all work as one unit. And these technologies, I haven't even gone into some of them. I haven't even talked about some of the technologies that we're carrying. I haven't even brought any of them up yet. So, again, so everybody understands something, right? And I'm not negating all of the intel people out there at all. Not at all, all right? They're doing everything they can to get out as much information so that people stay calm and stay collective and stay patient. And in their time and effort, they work very hard to get that information out. And they're all part of us. They're all part of the group, all trying to work in the best direction possible for the people. But what I am saying is in a nutshell, the RV is here. Trump will be president, no matter what you're being told, because the media is crap. It's all crap, okay? And I don't think you guys are interested in watching crap anymore. And if I were you, I'd cut your cable, and I'd go to live streaming. That's it. Find out about live streaming. It costs you pennies. You'd save a couple $100 a month going to live stream. All right? I've been live streaming for years. And it's the only way to go. It's not TV, all right? But you'll be able to access any show or program without commercials ever. You'll be able to go back and watch your favorite sitcom from 20 years ago, every single episode. You'll be able to do a search. Let's say you want to watch a movie. Do a search. Movie shows up. Boom, there it is. 4K, 8K, 10K, 100K, whatever. And it doesn't cost you a cent. See, that's another thing, and I won't get into that, but I'm real passionate about it. How many people, including members of my family and what's left of them, spending $200 a month for cable? Are you kidding me? Why do you think Comcast buys up all these companies? Why do you think these cable companies are so wealthy with their own networks? Because of you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little Q&A. So we open up Q&A. At 954-0487, hello, how are you?
I'm fine. This is me in Florida.
Well, good, Florida.
Yes, I don't know if anybody else in Florida adores you like I do. I've been listening to you, and I feel like I'm abandoned because I don't have a computer. I don't have a technology. I don't know how to get hold of you. I follow you.
You are right now. Well, you are right now.
Yeah, but it's like tonight, 6 o'clock. There was no meeting, so I kept dialing the phone from 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and I heard inside of me, dial at 9 o'clock. He's coming back, cause I'm Jared. I'm listening to you. I'm following you, but my circumstance is I'm 81. I'm on Social Security, and I have very little fun to survive almost. And
well, something. I'll tell you something now. At 81, you sound super clear.
Oh, yes, I am. I kind of kick the bucket. I tell you, I listen to you, and you put me alive, and I just wish I could see you and just be working. I feel
you already are, see, because you are not ever going to have to be concerned. This is a fact. You are not ever going to have to be concerned about age and about
I don't care about my age. I just want to be able to follow you in everything. I listen to you. I have a meditation. I just love everything you said. I've been born to know all this you said. I mean, it does something. Except I do have high blood pressure, and I can't get any of my vitamin. I do want to ask you, how can I get the cardio C? Without a computer, I don't have a computer. I just have a phone.
What if you had a computer? Would you know how to use it?
No. I'm not mentally I'm physical.
Well, you're not your generation came from a different place where we didn't have computers. I remember when there weren't any computers. I remember when we just had we thought it was really great when they came out with those Princess phones with a lighted dial. And then when it push buttons. How many years did we use the dial?
Yeah.
And, party lines, I remember those. And, we had 4 or 5 channels on our TVs when the TVs were there. And guess what? We got along just fine. We all got along just fine.
I'm very smart as creative. I'm very creative, but I'm not a machine technology person. I get very, I don't know, retarded on that. But I have a mind. I can create things, and I've been a worker. Except now, physically, I had a hard life, and I used my body to work hard. I was born in France, and during the war, and we had to work hard, and my life here has been work, and well, I'm still running.
I'll ask you something.
Yeah.
Are you going to elect to reverse your age in the celestial chamber?
Oh yeah, I'll do anything. I want to be there. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, but I'm lost in Florida. I don't even know. Is there anybody in Florida connected with this beautiful you? You are. Oh, you are. I don't know. You are.
There are people. There's people all over the place, and there's people.
Well, I
in
wish
Florida.
I was, because I'm all alone. I have nobody, no one. I have a couple people that used to be in my meetings. I used to have meetings there. I don't know if you've been in Florida, but in the
I lived in the Panhandle years ago in the 60s up in Tyndall Air Force Base.
Oh, you've never been through my place, because in the 80s, after I married my husband, we went to Sedona and Mount Shasta, and I got a revelation to create a vortex in the back of my garden. And I did create a vortex with medicine wheel that I had an Indian shaman come, and I had copper rod. I have a copper pyramid, and I have loads of crystal. But right now, it's all in the jungle because I can't afford people to cut the shrubs and everything. I used to have meetings for the late 80s to the 2000. My grandson, I raised my grandson in 2000. From 2000 till now, he's still with me. The court came away when he was 18 months old. But I used to have meeting, and I had people from all over the world come to my meeting. We had meditation, we had ceremony. Oh my God, I was full of life.
Well, you're part. We're all one anyway. You're not depleted at all. You've done a lot of things. You've got the right mind. You've got a vision. You're a visionary. So we'll all meet.
But you're so far away. So far away that
that won't be an issue. That's not going to be an issue in the near future.
Those people talking to you and doing this and doing that. And
we'll be able to pop in. We'll be able to pop in 3 minutes and say, "Hey, Geraldi, we'll be there in 3 minutes."
Oh,
okay?
I know about that. I've been out of the body. I've had all those experiences.
No. I'm not talking about out of body. I'm talking about a transportation technology that I can say, "I'll be there in 2 minutes," and boom, I'd be there in your living room.
Oh
in 2
boy,
minutes.
I tell you, you are something else. Oh, no. I've been around. Jared, and when first time I met you in that meditation, and every time it's all, I drink everything, I eat everything you say, and it's just, God save us, God, oh my God,
I'm part of you, see, I'm part of you, you're part of me, you're a reflection of a part of me.
Yeah,
so we're not, you know that, or we're not, none of us are separate, we all,
but
it's
I'm
always
not doing
a joy.
anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm receiving all this food.
That's fine. You keep receiving, and eventually we'll call on you, and we'll have your body young with all that experience, and then you'll be able to really help us.
Okay. Oh yes. I can do things. Believe me, I can. I just can get my body healed from the chamber.
Yep.
I have a lower problem. I walk like a duck, but I have a force field in my heart. You can hear me. Oh boy, I'm very strong. I'm like a general.
Well, good. I can tell by your voice.
Oh yeah.
We want to make sure that we can talk with some other people, though, and I appreciate all of your love sharing.
Oh my God! Well, the wonderful thing. I have to use free phone to listen to you on a Wednesday night, and sometimes I fall asleep because the Panasonic, the battery die when I use the meditation in the afternoon. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, we have had trouble with the meditation the past couple of days. I had to dial you 2-3 times before to go back in meditation. it was cutting off.
I think it was yesterday I had 8.
Oh yeah, it's down back and back.
Yeah.
And I said, I hope I get them. And Wednesday night too, it got cut off. I had to run to get another phone, and I couldn't get back to you for 10 minutes. But I said, I'm going to get back. And I finally got back to you, but I was too tired to call you. But tonight, I don't know. It's the time for me to reach you and talk to you. I just don't want to be left alone. I know what's going on. I'm done. I have no problem. I'm very intuitive. I know what you said. I just, you just keep me alive. I know I will not, my body is frail. I mean, I'm not frail, I'm strong. I'm strong-born, but I just want to be active with this family of ours that you are. And I know I have to I'm not going to go anywhere because I have too many experience, I was born in France. I went through the Catholic school, and they put me away because I used to tell people they were going to die. I used to tell people, you're not racist, the Catholic Church and all that. I've been through that. And here I've been through the same thing, but I've done my work, and you survived me because you revealed to me all. That's so wonderful to God is within us, is coming through you and through all of us. I hear those people talking to you. It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. That in itself.
Thank you, Geralde. Much love to you. We got a lot of people that wanted to ask.
I know.
questions.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Much love. 360-6260. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good.
So yeah, you didn't mention anything about the United States Incorporated being bankrupt. Do you know anything about that? And do you think that'll be mentioned maybe tomorrow at the speech?
I don't think it hasn't existed for quite a while.
Prior, I thought it was 2008 it went bankrupt.
No, it went bankrupt in '99.
Okay.
It went bankrupt in the '80s. It went bankrupt remember that it's been in operation since 1861.
Okay.
So the corporation is defunct. But see, with them, it didn't make any difference anyway. It didn't make any difference because they're all about illusion. So that they kept the illusion going, that making the American people think that the United States for the people was operating, but this is just a corporation running a feudal system over the people in this country and the planet. So it's gone. The United States corporation is gone, vaporized. It has no authority. It is defunct. And all they're doing is they're running the con job on the people like they've done for decades. So they don't really need an entity. They are the entity. They operate that way. So they create whatever they want out of thin air. So the old vestiges of the corporate grip, the organic constitution, are vaporized. And I would say a interim republic transitioning into a people government. So more so than a republic was. So you'll see a republic government interim transition of and for the people. And then, because literally the corporation is vaporized. It's over. It couldn't even limp. It couldn't even use a walker. It's been so defunct for so long. But they operate anyway as if it's there, and it's not. And on top of that, all of the control factors, the Vatican, the London, D.C., all vaporized. The triad is being vaporized. And the people of the planet, the different governments, the one of the biggest that is going to be dissolved here shortly communist Chinese. They're just going to be dissolved. They'll be vaporized.
And they're all through the UN and all. They're all part of the big different corporations of the global world things.
Yeah, and what happened is that the American people made them wealthy, and they got so wealthy that their corruption, which is, it kind of backfired on them, and they thought they were going to own this country through the corrupted people, the corrupted souls within D.C. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And they're going to be dissolved. And there's already a new a new Republic of China leadership that's already formed. Most of the countries have these already formed smaller governments, transitional governments for the people of those countries already waiting. A lot's been going on behind the scenes for the last dozen years. So then we'll have, we already have a transitional government in place waiting to step in so that the American people don't get freaked out and they transition it smoothly enough so that there's not a cultural breakdown. And that people can start getting rid of the habits of believing in such a bunch of crap. And so what will happen here is that Trump will stay president. He'll transition over and introduce an interim government, not a D.C. government, but an interim government for the people. And then the people have introduced this interim government and understand what's going on. The people also start experiencing hydration. This is all going to happen simultaneously, so to speak, but not overload. So the people will be moved more into a joy or happy state, and then all of this information is going to start being pumped out. I think the most challenging will be for many is that when they start broadcasting the EBS to show the people of this country and the world what's been going on, and the underground installations, which has been going on the surface of the planet, which has been going on for a long time, and the truth, basically. Cognitive dissonance, exactly. And I think that a lot of people are going to be freaked out. I just think people are going to be freaked out. And it's going to run for quite a while. It's going to be on for quite a while. And repetitiveness is important. But they've got sequences, videos, and all kinds of stuff assembled, and organized, and structured that they're going to start letting out to the people. We're right. I'll tell you right now. We are in the how do I put it? We're in the end of this corruption, but that's when it's going to be the most disruptive because they're not going to. They're just not going to say, "Okay, see you all." This is not going to happen. So we will have disturbances, but we have military checkpoints all across the country, especially in the troublesome areas. We've been moving equipment for the last, goodness gracious, 15 years, easily across the country. This has all been in the works for a long time. It may seem on the surface that it wasn't, that it was like spur of the moment. Okay? We just didn't care to have the planet destroyed and the people stay in slavery anymore. So it's all shifted, and it's in the proper direction. Basically, truly bliss and joy type situation. But the next, I'll say that the next, it's not going to be like people think it's going to be, because we always think the worst. But yeah, you're going to have some disruption. You're going to have people angry, especially those that are asleep, thinking that the world's over. And I believe that some will not emotionally be able to handle it, and they will leave the body. They just will. You'll get crazy people. We've had a lot of crazy things going on in this country. You know that, Sam. I mean, it's nothing new. Totally. But this stuff is going to wash out. And as soon as he's nationally announced that he, and legally and legitimately, and then all that's going to be revealed about what they did, and the American people will see it. It will be irrefutable. And so they won't be able to argue about it. They'll be in denial, some of them, but eventually they'll come around and understand that they've been had. And then that's it. That part will be done, and then the elimination of the rest of the corrupted souls in D.C. I'm telling you right, D.C. is like, I mean, it make a swamp look like Shangri-La.
Yeah. Do you think the history lesson will cover everything from JFK being taken out to 9/11 as well as the?
Yeah, it's all going to be revealed. Yeah, it's going to be revealed to the American people once and for all. Not saying it's going to be, really pleasant at all, but they're going to share it with the American people so they finally understand what the heck's gone on with their country. And not to happen again. And the only way the only way you're going to be able to do that is collectively introduce it to the civilization and the people in this country to let them know that, hey, guys, you're the ones that are in control here, so you determine. And by educating everybody and passing it down through the generations, it's not going to happen again. We won't have it. We just won't have it ever again. And that's the mistake that a lot of civilizations have made. They never passed it down, and so it degraded, and then it came back, festered, and grew again and took over. This happened one time before with this particular civilization, where they didn't get them all, and they held themselves in crevices and cracks until at an appropriate time. Then they started surfacing and corrupting and causing issues. So it will not occur again. So we're very fortunate as a civilization to watch this as it transitions. Not only when this country transitions, the rest of the population of the planet will do the same. And then we'll move into, and people talk about 1,000 years of golden age peace, but no, it's going to be as long as we choose. So it could be for thousands and thousands and thousands of years that if we choose to have it that way, that's the way it'll be. And so the end of the politician, the end of the corrupt politician, the end of a lifetime in politics is over. It's ending. All of that's going to go by the wayside. We're going to have a much smaller government. It's going to be truly for the people. The people eventually will move into governing themselves to a certain extent, and with the technologies that will be flooding the planet, you're going to see a complete shift in the social structure of the planet. Poverty will be completely obliterated. Wealth will be prevalent all across the planet. We'll transition out of the money. That's the directive. We're going to transition the planet out of money because people won't need it. And they'll gladly, because they'll agree. We don't need it. I've used that example. I've got $1 trillion sitting in my bank account, haven't even touched it for 3 years. With all the technologies we have, we could create anything we choose that doesn't do any harm. So, and we've got that written into the AI database, the controllable AI. That says there won't be anybody doing anything with the replicators that's going to create harm. So, but yeah, it's the DC government is done. Even the Dracos that are hanging in there and the reptilians, they're done. They're cooked. You couldn't even stick a fork in them because the fork would fall out. They're so done.
Well, thank you, and wonderful to be a part of the transition team.
Yes, it is, Sam. Appreciate your efforts as well. Much love to you.
Oh, you too. Take care.
Okay. Bill.
Hello, my brother Jared.
How you doing, brother?
Good. They're trying to reinforce all this COVID stuff. I laugh at them and just keep on walking.